Thank you, and thank you, Joe. Welcome to the final Astro Cafe of 2024. I'm Chris Purse. I'm tonight's host because quite a few people, I think, are on the road, and so it's good to see so many people here. I know David Lee wanted to say something. Does anybody else have anything? I have something I want to say.
Just a short
Brian, okay.
artistic piece.
Yeah, I have I just want 2 minutes also, please. It's Jeff.
Yeah. Yes. Brian. Yeah. And then we'll go around and do announcements at the end, and depending what else is happening, because I know we're still ahead of some of the activities at the observatory, and yeah, I don't know if there's anything before we resume, but we'll be back here just as a reminder on January the 6th. So 3 weeks tonight. I just count people online there. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, David, you wanted to tell us about a conjunction this week.
Yeah, it's
Dude.
coming up rapidly tomorrow. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but I don't know. Always be prepared. I'm just gonna. Oh, Reg is here. He's going to promise us clear skies. I'm sure of it. He's saying nothing, but let's see.
No.
So it should be quite nice. It's going to be at its closest point. It'll be about as far away from the edge of the moon as it is the moon wide. So that's like a half a degree. I think it works out to like 37 minutes or something like that. So it should be quite nice. So get out your binos and get out your wide field eyepieces on your refractor. It should be quite nice. And as you can see here, starting at around 7:30.
Yeah.
It'll rise in the east and northeast. So you might be able to catch a nice moonrise at the same time. And you'll see Mars following it. So you'll see the moon first and then see Mars. And during the evening, you're going to also see Jupiter, which is really nice. That's the one thing in those couple of clear spots that we've had the last week. Lots of planets out. So that's kind of cool. Anybody else seeing things or in those kind of weird 1 or 2 hour spots?
Well, I went out the other night to see if I can catch the Geminids at the
Oh
peak,
yeah.
and it was actually clear at 3 in the morning.
Oh wow.
But it I only saw one in about a 15-minute period.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was a sign that you can maybe catch an opportunity, even though the forecasts aren't looking too positive. Like tomorrow night, it isn't looking too positive.
No, but I found that the forecasts aren't really that great, and I think probably Reg can probably confirm this, but the systems are so dynamic that anything can happen. Like one little change in the system, and then all of a sudden it's clear. And that happened on Saturday night. I'm working on this project right now with somebody from the UK, and we're trying to do some timed images of the moon.
Mhm.
And I didn't think I was going to catch it because we had a storm the night before. And I said, no way. And, like 2 hours before I had to shoot, it was clear. So it was quite nice. Kirsten, you mentioned to me that you've been out a couple of times at some clear moments.
Yeah, December the 9th. It was actually late last Monday, actually. Um, I started observing close to around I guess 11:30 until about 12:30. And it was just kind of one of those weird windows of clarity, I guess. And
Mm.
at least where I am in James Bay, it was just spectacular seeing
Mm,
for whatever reason, for that very just brief moment in time. And I could visually see almost the entirety of the constellation of Gemini.
wow.
And so I was fortunate. I was able to get some double stars
Mm.
within Gemini. And I had a beautiful sighting of M35, which is
There's
an
about
open
there's three M clusters inside of a Auriga, aren't there, in that area, right?
in Auriga. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there's that. I actually caught those three about 2 months ago. Actually, they're yeah, like there's like the starfish is one of those, and the pinwheel, and there's another one as well. There's kind of three very close together in Auriga, but I caught M35 in Gemini on Monday night, and it just looked spectacular, like these
Mm,
beautiful kind of a left and right sided
mm.
cluster of stars with this beautiful
And
sheen.
your instrument of choice?
Actually, I just took out my short tube 80. I
Oh,
was
okay,
lazy.
okay.
I just it's a wide field refractor.
Mm,
It's a short tube, so it's an f6.
yeah.
Um, so, but yeah, so in the 24 millimeter M35 was just stunning, and yeah, no, it's so I've yeah had some great observing, and yeah, and then I caught another double in Orion, I guess on Wednesday after our meeting. But my primary reason for going out was to have some really close looks at Jupiter. I had heard that the Great Red Spot would be visible, and so I went out actually with my Mac, which of course has much longer focal length and much higher magnifications. And I can truly say that I was able to get amazing magnifications on Jupiter. It was clear enough.
Mhm.
I was able to see the bands pretty distinctly, and I can say with certainty that the Great Red Spot was not visible. I would have seen it. So
So are
that
you
yeah,
did you sufficiently chill your Mac
I did.
or what?
I did
Oh,
actually. Yes, I let it, and it's a 127, so it
mm,
doesn't require a huge amount of cool down time, but definitely does. There was certainly some spike refraction going on until it was
mm.
properly cooled, until it kind of settled down. But yeah, that took a while, definitely. Yeah.
But it goes to show you a nice grab and go is the thing to have in this type of weather, right?
Yeah, yeah, even with the Mac, it's sufficiently light. But yeah, it was just fabulous. I tried out a new eyepiece that I had acquired. I was pretty happy with it. It's a Beta Morpheus. It's a 4.5 millimeter. Like it's capable of some pretty it's a 76-degree wide field eyepiece. And even in the Mac, it was just capable of producing just even at really high magnifications. I'm almost embarrassed to say how high. It was definitely fuzzy and kind of distorted. Uh,
Yeah.
but um, but yeah, I was very, very happy with it.
You kind of have to wait for really good seeing for a really high mag. I don't know. Like I usually like to keep it moderate because it does get kind of fuzzy
Yeah,
sometimes.
absolutely. I was just chasing that great red spot, and it was not there. It was on the other
All
side.
right. Yeah, cool. Anybody else see anything recently?
Just on the Mars and Moon, it was about 2 years ago that a number of us saw the occultation of the Moon.
Yes.
Hardwick had passed over. Just a reminder, it was 2 years, December 7th.
Yes.
And then Mars is currently sitting above the summer beehive, well, like the beehive cluster in Cancer.
Well,
Or is
actually,
it
tomorrow,
called
to,
beehive? Is it called beehive or is it?
M44 maybe Persepi.
Yeah.
The tomorrow night, the moon and Mars will be just it'll be above the Pleiades, I think. Pretty sure. Pretty sure it's above the Pleiades, and
Yeah, but it's in Cancer right now. So it's
yeah,
just sitting above the
Mm.
the cluster in Cancer.
yeah. But we'll see Orion. It's
Yeah.
a good time to look at Orion as well.
Yeah.
So all the winter stuff, just in time for Christmas. Anyways, thank you.
Great. Thanks, David, and everybody else. I wanted to try an experiment tonight. So I wanted to see if I could demonstrate an app. So you may see I'm on here twice, and I'm going to try and see if I can use my iPad to show something on the screen in just a moment. One of the things that is useful is to share things with each other of apps that we can find useful. And I brought along a little prop. A lot of people will recognize that if you can see it. It's the body of a star adventurer. And I found an app to help set the polar scope. So when we had was it Dave with his telescope here, or David with his telescope here, we were talking about the fact that he had an equatorial mount, and the easiest way to align an equatorial mount is to be able to look through the polar scope and see if you can get it nicely fixed on Polaris. And quite a while ago, I found an app that allows you to do that. So I'm going to see if it will let me show that, because it's an app that does quite a lot. So let's just see if... Okay, and it's called Polar Scope Align Pro. And
Yeah, I can see that.
And has anybody else got this app?
Yeah, I use it all the time, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So-
it's good because it has multiple reticles in it. So
Yeah.
it not only works for the one in the Star Adventure, but it'll do the Losmandy Finder, a whole bunch of them actually.
So this is the Pro version. I don't know if it's available for Android, but this is it, looking at it on an iPad. And because I don't have a pointer, I'll just talk about it geographically from the top left to the and go around the screen here, because there's a lot. There's a lot on this app, so I thought it would be worth showing you a little bit about it. So most of the stuff is pretty obvious. You've got the date and time up in the top left corner. You can auto time or you can manual time. So if you switch to manual time, it lets you change those. So that's useful if you want to plan ahead. The next block down is the location. So this is picking up from the GPS in my iPad here that we're near Rockland. And so it's giving me the coordinates of that. Although I can go into a location manager and I can, in fact, manually change to somewhere else. So I was curious to see what it would show me for New Zealand. I didn't spend a lot of time exploring that, so we won't bother with it tonight. But I was thinking, what's it look like for the Southern Hemisphere? Most of these screens you go into, by the way, you get out by clicking done in the bottom right corner. So I'll get back out of that. You may notice the moon in the right side there. And if you click on the moon, you get this. You get a calendar showing when the phases of the moon are. And then you get a light curve, if you like, or a moon graph of what the moon is doing today. Or you can change it to the sun. This is the one for the sun. So this shows you when the sun was above the horizon and when it was below the horizon. So, and it gives you some other information about that. And yesterday was the full moon. So yesterday it tells us exactly when the full moon was down in the information that's in the right-hand side panel. I'm going to skip. Well, actually, I'll just show you this. Polaris is underlined, so you can find out some more information about Polaris. I'm going to skip the middle at the moment and just go and talk about these what's along the bottom. The first thing is a dimmer control, which doesn't work very well when I'm sharing the screen, but basically it's on the full bright for red. And if I move it toward the right, it will dim the screen. This star figure is this one. This allows us hopefully to come up with a weather report. So here we are, we have a weather report. It's based on the location we're in. We can get into the location area if we want to change it. And we do have going forward, using some slightly different icons there. It gives us the seeing and the clouds. I think the white is supposed to show us that there's almost no area without cloud. And this does an interesting, I guess, the size of the circle. The larger the circle, the more humidity there is. And the umbrella, of course, showing us that it's supposed to start raining by 4 tomorrow morning. Down in the bottom right corner, we have this thing, and this shows us when the next eclipses, solar eclipses, will be for this location. That will be visible here. So 2029 is the next one we'll see from here. And this one tells us when the International Space Station passes. And then you have the settings, and this is where you can turn on and off whether this is in red or not. I've left the night mode off on the other screens just to make it a little bit easier to see. You can also configure your weather forecasts, and you can choose what color you use for the night mode.
Do you get to choose the weather forecast you would like?
Yeah, there you go. Clear sky. The next icon beside the star there is the calculator. The calculator brings up a series of formula that you can use. So, for example, the eyepiece magnification, you can find the magnification or the focal length from the magnification, gives you 2 options there. It's there if you need to use it. You can type, it lets you type into those boxes. Choose which formula you want to see. There is an observing, set, imaging, and other. This is a an opt-out thing. So if you want to see only the observing formulas, choose imaging, which crosses it out, and choose other, and it crosses it out. And here are the observing formula that you've got in there that you can look at and use. So it's kind of an interesting thing. So you've got astro calculators as well. It's got a database of deep sky objects. So you can look some things up there if you want. I think most of the time I probably would use a different app for that, but it's here if you want it. Where are we here? This is the bubble level. So it tells me that my iPad is facing pretty close to west. And if I bring it down to being flatter, you can see the bubble level moving into the center there. And there it is. So it suggests there that the based on the compass calibration being good and the gyro using the default one built into the iPad, that it can tell you if it's level or not. It's got an interesting feature that I haven't explored too much, but this allows you to helps you set the up the alignment of the telescope using daylight, and when you can't look for Polaris. And let's see if I can figure out which way around this is. But anyways, you may see the crossbar going up and down the right side. And I got to figure out which way. There it is. And I'm not sure quite how this works, but there are instructions here. And if you get it aligned, I guess it helps you align your.
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, yeah, allows you to do that. And there are instructions in here and shows you how to put it on your telescope. to
Yeah,
align it.
I think there's some instructions on the internet that show you how to 3D print a little holder for your phone. You can
For it,
just
yeah.
put it on and use it that way.
This one allows you to, which we can't do generally in this area, use a laser alignment system, a laser pointer. So anyways, now for some reason, they put the out button on the left side and they called it cancel instead of done. So anyways, this one allows you to make corrections, I guess, if you find there's an error in the location. And so you can adjust it. The next one allows you to rotate it and set it for certain types of reticle usage. I won't touch the one with a light bulb on it because that turns the screen pure red. It's a night light, basically, or a night vision device, if you like. Now, as David pointed out, you can change the reticle in the middle, and you do that by there's a gear wheel to the right side of the screen and at the bottom of this center area, so right above the light bulb. So if you touch that, you get this. And if you go into this section here, you can see that there's an Iaptron, an old one, Orion Skywatcher. They're suggesting that one. This is the one that is in that Star Adventurer has that one. My EQ5 has this one, so I tend to leave it on that one. You've got some Takahashi mounts, Astrophysics, Los Maiandi, etc. So there's a whole bunch of different ones you can choose here. You can tell it what color you want the night mode to be on. You can change it to green, which I think does this in green then when you go back. And there it is back to red. You can rate the app and send them a tip. And there are some, there's star lists you can get from different places so that you can help, set the scope. So anyways, I found that this is really quite a useful app, and I haven't used it a lot, but I did find it worked very well for me at the Star Party because I was using the EQ5, and I had set it up and aligned the telescope on Saturn and ended up getting involved in some other things for a while. And when I went back, I thought, oh, I bet it's really drifted. And no, it was bang on. So the between using the drive motors on the EQ5 and getting it well aligned to Polaris with this app, it worked very well. And so I'm glad to hear some other people already have this one, but I just thought I'd share it and see what, as an app that if you haven't seen it before and you have an equatorial mount, it may be worth getting.
Yeah, I like the fact, like you, Chris, I tend to use very specific apps for particular things, but this is actually quite nice because it rolls everything into one package, which I think is good. For those of you who have been observing and imaging, it's actually quite useful to be reminded the characteristics that you want to remember for the night. So things like conditions, your location, and things like that. It's nice to have a tool like that because it's all readily available. And if you want to cheat, you can just screen cap the app, and then you can just record it later.
Yeah. So anyways, I hope that was some interesting information for people who may be able to use that. The other thing that I hadn't seen before getting the Star Adventurer is a polar scope illuminator.
Yeah.
And I believe that is standard equipment with the bundle. And
Yeah,
what
it actually it's not a very nice one, and I found that it's just as good to take a little red light and just kind of shine it into the opening at the top. In fact, I prefer that. Yeah, that's it right there.
yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know, it doesn't, I don't really like it very much. I'm lazy and I just use my red light and just point it in and do it that way.
What I found with this is I could never get the red light really working well with the EQ5. And I found this came with an adapter, so it works on the EQ5.
Oh,
So uh, I actually got myself another one for to keep with my EQ5, so I don't have to remember to take this one out. And that really helped with that alignment I was talking about at the start party, because I didn't have to move around. I could just get down on the ground,
yeah.
look through the polar scope, and it was nicely illuminated, and off it went, and it was, I found that really good. So
Yeah, I don't really like crouching. I find myself using digital aids to do the alignment now, anyways. Like I'll use either Sharp Cap or Reg's favorite pull finder. Oh, by the way, Reg, I just want to let you know, I've almost got pull finder running on a Raspberry Pi, so I've got a just a small screen now. It's big enough that it's usable because I had really tiny screens for the Raspberry Pi, but I've got a much bigger one now. And I should be able to run the Pole Finder app because they have a Linux version of it. So I should be able to run that on a little screen. So I don't have to carry a laptop. I can just use the little
That's
screen.
Pole Master.
Pole Master, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, Pole
good.
Master. Yeah. So when I got it running, I'll probably show it.
Chris, can you tell us what the pro version of the app costs?
I was trying to figure that out, but because I bought it a while ago, I'm not sure.
It's not expensive.
It wasn't a lot, no.
Yeah. I think under
Yes.
$10, I think. Pretty sure.
And I don't think it was more than $10, but I'm not sure. I went to look for that. Thanks for the question, because I've forgotten to mention it. And it doesn't tell you in there. All it tells you within is the in-app purchases are to go to that tip jar and
Mm,
give a tip. So you
yeah.
can also give the developer money periodically if you want.
Yeah, it's certainly not expensive.
No, but it wasn't a lot. No, if it was $10, that would be the most, I think. Now I got it quite a while ago, but I don't know if it's if the prices have changed or not. So. Anyways,
$4.99.
oh, there you go. Yeah, so it's funny it didn't let me show that. So. Yeah. So thanks, thanks for the input there too, David. Brian, I think you had something you wanted to show or tell us about.
Yeah, thank you. I will try and share screen from my mobile phones here.
I'll get off.
Okay. Well, it may not work.
Should.
I can't see where the options are. These buttons here. It was showing up before.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay, here
There
we
they
go.
are.
All right. Share.
Now you got to tell it what you want to share.
Okay. Start recording or casting. Just coming up.
You may have to tell them to go.
Okay, let's just get that. I can still put something in the chat maybe later. But on Sunday, on Sunday I attended a choral concert by Ensemble Laude, and it's an all-female chorus. And the name
Laude.
Laude, thank you. Got to say the
Ensemble Laude.
right. And the name of the performance was Stars. And I saw it just a few days before the performance. I didn't get tickets, but I thought, well, it would be remiss of us not to have someone from our club in attendance. Here's from their website. Stars takes a listener on a journey through the ages with clear tones of medieval Marian music by Hildegard von Bingen, de Chancellor, and others honoring Mara Stella, the Star of the Sea. We sing pieces that tell us of the human experience of winter, including Ong, the Star Child by Canadian Cree composer Andrew Belfour, The Transcendent Northern Lights by Ola Yalo. You've been there.
Who's giving this talk?
Yeah. And then Sparkling Aurora by Victoria composer Nicholas Fairbank, and ends with A Shimmering Snow Angel by beloved Canadian composer Sarah Cortell. And they are doing another performance in Gordon Head on January 25th. During the intermission, I spoke with the director, artistic director, Sarah Whitney, and she was delighted to meet
Catherine Whitney.
Catherine Whitney, sorry.
Catherine Whitney.
Yeah, right. And she would be happy to speak to our group in January and give us an overview of the performance and what inspired her to on this topic. And so December 9th or 13th is our, just have to connect with the host for that meeting and subject to her availability.
So here,
No, she could probably do it online.
well, it's already mentioned
Yeah.
for Astro Cafe, yeah.
Yeah, on the Astro Cafe.
Yeah, well, maybe let send Randy an email.
Okay.
Because he's away on vacation at the moment, but he can coordinate it then.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably the second one then,
All right.
which I,
Pretty good, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that was
Thank you.
it was a very beautiful performance, and the chorus they aligned in the front. This was in the First Metropolitan Church, but they also then lined up around the audience, and so you got this beautiful,
Surround sound.
yeah, it was surround sound. It was beautiful, just beautiful. So maybe we'll get her to bring maybe to play a little piece or two when she's on the Zoom call.
And interestingly, Catherine is the interim for 1 year conductor of Ensemble Laude, while their conductor is the regular conductor, Elizabeth McIsaac, is taking a year's leave of absence.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you've been to their performances, or did you go to? You missed the one. Did you go to the one on Sunday?
I'm going to it in January.
Okay, good.
I see them all the time. They're one of for me, they're the best choir in, sorry, Randy. They're the best choir in Victoria. And it's a women's ensemble.
Yeah. Okay, I'll connect with her and we'll tee it up for January.
Great, thanks, Brian. So I think we're now with Jeff. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, thanks very much. So just a reminder, as we come up to the end of the year, most people now have their observer handbooks for 2025. So if you do have the 2024, hang on to it, don't throw it out, because we can use it at the Astronomy Day. And if you don't want to hold on to it for the next few months, I'll put my email in the chat and just email me and I'll get it from you, because I'll start collecting all that.
Great, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, great.
Okay, well, I think,
I didn't hear him
oh,
about.
so if you don't want your 2024 handbook, hold on to it get it to him at some point,
Okay,
because we give them out to people who are interested,
okay.
correct?
Good. Yep. Thanks for repeating that. Did my voice not come through?
No, not the beginning.
Oh, okay. Okay.
For some reason, your sound's a bit fuzzy coming in here. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but
Okay. Well, thank you for restating it.
Maybe it sounded.
yeah, it could be. And we were making noise. Great. So now I think we're down to announcements, unless anybody else has anything. So Lauri, do you have anything from the FDA?
Sure. We had we have our solstice summer star party, or solstice winter star party, sorry, coming up next Saturday. And in the morning is a pancake breakfast, which is a fundraiser. And you can get tickets on our usual site. And then in the evening we have our star party. And if it's nice, I don't know, what does it look like it's going to be, Reg? Is Saturday looking even half decent at all?
Yes.
We're just looking now, Lauri.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
If it's nice, then please let me know, and we'll or let Amy Rawson at the center know that you'd like to come up and get that all organized to be able to come up and help us. That would be just great. And we do need to have someone be on the welcome desk if there's anybody that can do that. We'd love to have somebody there. And it'll be a solstice presentation from a motley crew of us that will put it together. So that's I think that's all I have for now. Kirsten, is there anything else that I've forgotten?
I don't think so, Lauri. I think that's kind of it for events up at the center until next year. I don't know if I've already mentioned it, but our speaker for the January meeting of the RASC monthly meeting up at UVic next January should be an interesting one. We have a guest speaker that's joining us from the South Coast chapter of RASC. He's a member amateur astronomer, and he's going to be providing I guess a presentation about his experiences when he traveled to the dark skies of the Pitcairn Islands, where he calls his presentation Celestializing the descendants of the mutineers of the HMS Bounty. So it should be an interesting one, if nothing else, just to hear about his experiences in the Pitcairn Islands. But his name is Byron Puppy Pack Elliott. So I have no doubt it will be an entertaining and illuminating presentation in January.
And that's in our regular room, correct? Yeah.
Yes, I'm happy to say that for the months of January, February, and March, we're back in our normal room in the Bob Wright Center. Yeah. So details will be coming out shortly. I'm hoping to get the information from Byron by kind of the third week in December, just after Christmas, hopefully.
Great. Thank you so much. So Reg, did you find a weather forecast?
I think that Saturday is going to be windy, cloudy, and wet.
In other words, December in Victoria. Unfortunately. While we're talking about some general things, are there any updates on the VCO, David or Reg?
I haven't really done any more work. I've been busy doing other things, but it's fully visually enabled. So I haven't done extensive testing, but our mount is trackable and pointable. I still have to do the imaging portions, but I don't want to do that until I get a chance to really test them. So that can actually wait. But yeah, the PC is functioning well. I'm glad we got it in under the delivery delays. So we got it very rapidly. Thank you, Reg, for ordering it. And it looks, yeah, it's looking good.
Looking great.
So now we just need some clear skies.
Right.
You could just go and admire it.
Yeah, we could. We could have an evening up there to,
You could
in the
actually.
rain.
Yeah.
Not the best idea.
It's very small. I hope it's not shocking to people's senses because it's not a normal tower. It's very tiny. In fact, its name is Lenovo P3 Tiny.
But they packed a lot into that small chassis, didn't they? Great.
Yeah, there's some method in the madness as well. We're hoping to relocate the PC at some point so it's closer to the mount, so we can sort of shorten up all the cables, and then we will address it remotely through another terminal.
Sounds good. Does anybody else have anything for us tonight? Natasha.
Thank you. I'll just quickly share my screen.
Yeah, please do.
So I recently ordered from Ottawa a badge. I don't know if you can see this picture on the
Yes,
screen.
we can. Yeah.
So I mean, I got the Seven Sisters, but I was curious as to what this figure represents. And
That's Urania.
yeah, so I did a bit of research, and it's quite an interesting story. I don't know if I'm not going to talk about it now, but it might be an interesting subject to explore briefly on one of the Astro Cafes. But she's one of the 9 muses, and is the daughter of Zeus and Demosthene. So yeah, so that could have been a good quiz question. Who is the woman on the badge?
Yes.
Well, I've told everyone, but you probably all knew already.
Yeah, that would be an interesting topic for sure. Does anybody have anything else? I know we've been kind of short of skies for astrophotography, but has there been any reprocessing?
Hi,
David.
Oh, David.
Yeah.
I do have an image. It was taken in September, but I just processed it. So I can share it if you like.
Yeah.
Please.
Sounds like old photons to me.
Not that old. It took a lot longer to get here than it does to for me to
It's fresh enough.
Yeah, I gotta figure out share. Share. Screen 2. Okay, is it there?
We got your email screen.
To recursive.
Oh,
So if you move what you want to show us on top of, probably on top of that, that should work. There it is, yes.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Wow.
okay, I can increase it somewhat. Yeah, this is in, I can't remember what constellation it is. Cepheus, maybe? This is no, it's not there. This is the Sol Nebula. It's usually paired with the
Art, right?
the Heart Nebula. And this is a pretty big star forming area. It's dominated by hydrogen alpha emissions, and this is a narrow band image, but I can read rid of these things. There we go. There's a cluster of stars. It's like in two groups. There's a cluster of stars in the middle. And you can imagine these stars are radiating a whole bunch of radiation and stellar winds, and that's impacting the cloud, and it's kind of blowing it away from the center and formulating these circular sort of regions. And I actually went, maybe I can bring this over, and built a high-tech simulator of the nebula. Grab it. In my bathroom sink.
Okay.
So if you're lucky to have a sink, any sink will do, as long as the tap doesn't go directly down the drain. But you can see this water is coming out of the tap and it's hitting the bottom of the sink. And this is kind of the star simulator. And it's the water is rushing radially out from where the water coming down the tap hits the bottom of the sink. And this is kind of like the stellar winds and the UV radiation coming off from the star. And it forces its way up the edge of the sink until it hits the molecular cloud, which is getting pushed away from the star, but it's also getting energized. And you can see all these little turbulent eddies that are happening back in the molecular cloud itself. And if I put an object in front of it, put an object like a pen in front of it, it's very hard to see, but you can see the pen sort of protects the cloud up there from being pushed back, because it's a density that kind of can withstand the outflow from the star. So you make this little mountain as the molecular cloud comes towards the star that's blowing it away. And now I can get rid of these. And you can see these little points. Here's a good group of them on the edge here, where the star is actually blowing the cloud apart. But these are like the pillars of creation and the elephant's trunk that you might have seen on other images, where there's a high dense point at the edge that's resisting being blown away by the star, and it's actually shielding in its shadow the molecular cloud from being blown away by the stars that are in the center. So these are kind of point to the stars that are blowing them away. And all that energy that happens at the collision gets sent into the cloud in terms of turbulent eddies and charge forces and even dust traveling at supersonic speeds, creating even more eddies and interference patterns, and some density highlights actually where the crests of the waves reinforced each other in terms of density waves actually form additional stars. So where you might start off with a dark nebula with no stars, and it takes a lot of luck and a lot of time for an actual star to appear out of a dark nebula. But then once that star is formed and starts forming and starts burning its hydrogen, it starts blowing away the cloud that made it, but also creating a lot more stars. So when all said and done here, you'll end up with just a cluster of stars remaining, and the rest of the molecular cloud will be dispersed. So this is the next chapter in my in my how stars are formed series of images that I've got an explanation that goes with them. And I kind of missed last week's book review, so if I can stop sharing. Does anyone have questions or anything?
No, that's great. You have
I
to
do
do a
have a-
trilogy. You have to do a trilogy now.
Well, I do have a book.
Oh,
It's
Oh, book.
the unblown.
That's really helpful, Dave. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. I can. There we go. Now I can show a book if it's not too bright. It's James Gleek book. He's written quite a few. He's a science reporter.
David, that's quite old, isn't it? It's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's actually got my 11.95 Kohl's price tag on it.
Where?
It's still in print. I checked
Yeah.
that. It's a fantastic book. It talks all about chaos and where we find this in our everyday lives. And one of the interesting chapters, it's got lots of colorful insets in it. So it's not just a heavy read. There's no math in it. Or very, very, very little. So it's a pleasant read. And one of the stories that's kind of neat is how chaos forms the red spot on Jupiter. And quite interesting. So that was my book review. That I couldn't find the book on the night last week. So that's it for me.
Thank you. And thanks for the reminder, because I meant to say, does anybody have a book that they didn't get to last week? So I'm glad you did that. Does anybody else have anything? Because I think we may just out. Lauri, yes.
Talking about books, Kirsten and I have been delving into the library at the FDAO and finding all kinds of interesting things in there. And we'd like a little bit of some help from some people, because there are some older books in there, some older like physics and astronomy books, and we don't know whether or not they are, they're good to keep, or whether or not they just need to be turfed. Or some of them are quite are older, so they may have some historical value. And I think we're going to ask Alex. Is Alex there?
yes.
Yeah,
Alex, there you are. Alex, I'm good. Maybe Alex can come up to the center sometime and just have a look through and see whether or not there's anything that that we think that we should keep. And then otherwise we might just put some of these books, might just find them on an Astro Cafe table sometime for the taking if anybody's really
Lauri,
interested.
you'll have to set up some comfy chairs and supply coffee or something like that, and we can have a book afternoon.
That would be good. And we've also got some older astronomy and sky and tel magazines back to the 2000s. So if anybody is interested in having some copies, if there's anything specific that you would like, if you wanted to go through there, maybe there some find a back copy of something that has got something in there, we probably can find it for you. We've got some pretty extensive ones. I know that Alex has got a whole set of them at the center, but I think we are at the library, but I think we want to keep those all together. These we're willing to start to kind of take apart for people that would like to have some things. So just that was just my book.
Yeah. Where did these books come from? Is that from when it was opened? And
These books have been there since I have some of them have been there since I've kind of been up there. Some of them have got so I think they may have come from an NRC library. So they could be back from there. And they just have shown up. So I'm not really too sure.
They're very dated. Like they're,
Yes, yeah.
yeah, like as a
Most of them.
general, like there's nothing really new. And so there's a lot of stuff that, I think was fairly easy to recognize that it was just out of date and no longer useful. But there's a few things, not a lot, but a few things that it's worth having a second set of eyes on it just to make sure that it's not a work of significance. Yeah.
Yeah. David Lee.
Yeah, I had a question for Alex. Do we continue to receive subscriptions of things like Astronomy Magazine and Sky and Tel that we bind?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I get them from Sid.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
And they're available at
At the library,
At
so
the
you
library.
can take them out if you want.
Yeah. So they are there and there is a collection and it goes back to long way, I guess.
Yeah.
Marjie?
Not related to books.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. It took me a moment, but I realized I knew I had created a presentation on Urania. How do you pronounce her name? Forgotten. Urania, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Urania or I'm not sure.
Yeah. I had created a presentation on her, and so I have found it if you want it now or want it some other time. I think I've showed it to you at one point, but I still have it on my computer.
Let's see it because
Let's
I
see
think
it.
otherwise it will be a very early evening tonight.
Right. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Minimize. Oh, I did that. Share screen. Okay, click on desktop one. That's not going to do it, is it?
It looks like it has.
Yes.
Oh, what is it? You might have to say allow on that screen.
All right. Can you see?
Yes.
Yes, there it is. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right. So I don't know when oopsie, not that. That's a Christmas letter. You don't want that one. All right. So I don't even know when I did this, but it's been a few years. So there we go. So this was when I was doing my Women of Astronomy series. So here she is, a woman of astronomy. She is neither alive nor deceased, nor breathing, nor obsolete. I guess, of course, it was Urania. She is the RASC seal of the Woman of Astronomy. Do you know who she is? Yes, we know. She's Urania. Urania, she's the muse of astronomy. Urania. There we go. Urania. That's the Greek pronunciation. She is holding a celestial sphere and a pencil. So it's a celestial sphere and a pencil. She is one of the 9 muses of the arts in Greek mythology. So there she is. She's the one with the arrow. She's holding a globe there. She's the daughter of the sky god Zeus. Her namesake is her primordial Titan grandfather, Uranos. 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 Uranos, the embodiment of the sky. Urania's role in Greek mythology was, with her sisters, to entertain the other Olympian gods and goddesses by performing songs and dances and telling stories centered around the greatness of Zeus. During the Renaissance, Urania was considered the muse for Christian poets. She's the namesake for observatories. And asteroid 30, Urania, 1854. She is on emblems and ships and on printed material. Her name is part of the title of the John Bayer 1603 Star Atlas, Uranometria. Uranometria, sounding like a Spanish. Uranometria. Measuring the Heavens. And she's been on the RASC seal since 1905, called Dulcut Urania, which means where Urania leads, we follow. And there she is in many different pictorial versions. The end.
Thank you for finding that.
You're welcome.
Any comments?
Thanks. That was
Interesting.
good because we've been looking at her for
A long time.
a while.
Yes.
And who was she?
That's great. Okay, is that?
Since she's neither alive nor dead, she might be Schroeder's cat.
There you go.
Marjie, is that point available to share?
I believe it could be. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but I could figure that out. Would you like it?
Yeah, I would just like to, Shaunak couldn't make it tonight, and I'd like to share it with her because she doesn't know yet, but I got her a badge for Christmas.
Oh, how nice.
She better know.
It'll be on the video, of course, if she wants to see it there.
Oh, yes.
I'm recording it.
Yes.
Right, Joe. That'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll point it to the video.
So
Okay.
Uranus was the one of the Titans. Yeah, right. The father of Saturn and grandfather of Jupiter or Zeus. Uranus.
Yeah, and in honor of that, the name is still used on the one of the major star atlases, one of the big ones, Uranometria.
Mm.
So it's still out there, and yeah.
Who discovered Uranus? I mean, the planet.
Herschel.
There we go. Yeah.
Herschel, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or his wife. Yeah. We will find out.
You're still sharing, Marjie.
I'm sorry. Do, 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 do. Yeah, it's not on my screen, so.
It's on ours.
Yes, I know. Maybe I'll just, oh, there we go. Stop share. That will help.
Yes, it has.
It's gone
yes.
now?
Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was a nice series you did in during the pandemic there, Marjie. I remember you working on several presentations with that. So
Good. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything for this evening?
Well, we should wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Yes, we should. Yeah.
And a Happy New Year and
Yep. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry
clear
Christmas.
skies.
You.
Right?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
It'd be nice to get some clear skies. So
Mhm.
positive thoughts.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, no, not in this climate, no.
Mhm.
But and maybe we should recognize Peter Jedicke in London. So I hope all is well in Ontario. Ah, there we go. We've got our reindeer. Thanks,
Oh, nice.
Natasha.
Oh, that's really good. I like that.
And which one of the reindeers is that one?
Rudolph.
Okay, he's got a blue nose though, so this one has to be something else. Yeah.
He's multicultural.
That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so just a reminder, some events because of the winter solstice on Saturday at the observatory, including a pancake breakfast. We will be back here on Monday, I believe it's January the 6th.
Mhm.
I didn't get my calendar out. And yeah, so I hope everybody has a safe and wonderful holiday season. And hopefully you can get together with family if that's in the plans and have an enjoyable time together. And there may be some informal groups getting together if we do ever get any clear skies. But and we'll hope that maybe there's a chance to see a few things before the year is over. And
Maybe the conjunction tomorrow night.
maybe the conjunction tomorrow night. Yeah, but I wouldn't hold our breath. No, not at this point. But yeah.
But as David, oopsie, my on, yes. As David always says, show up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. If you don't look, you won't see. That's what it comes down to. Anybody else in the room? No, we're good. Okay, well, thanks everyone, and we'll see you in 2025.
You bet.
Good.
Bye.
Happy holiday.
Bye.